What he said is that he's always complaining about lack of ammunition. So he said that the Kremlin or the military in Russia are keeping Wagner fighters short of ammunition because they want them to lose, because they want to destroy them. And in the past, he's criticised Shoigu, the defence minister, and Gerasimov, the chief of the general staff, by name, saying these people want Wagner to lose. And he always appeals to Putin directly. This time, he said Putin is an expletive grandad. Now, he didn't call him Putin, but Putin often gets called the grandad. So when he says expletive grandad, I think we know who he means. He might have overstepped the mark this time because he's always relied on his personal friendship with Putin. They go back a long way as friends. He was the caterer to Putin. He got the contract for Russian schools, then the Russian military. He's an old criminal, Prigozhin, and he set up a grocery firm in Petersburg in the 1990s, and then casinos. And it was Putin who gave him the license for his casinos that made him very rich. So they are personal. And Putin himself, he runs the Kremlin like a sort of medieval court. Nobody has an official job anymore. It's all people relating to him. So Prigozhin, I think out of frustration, is now criticising Putin directly because of lack of ammunition on the Bakhmut front, because he feels that his Wagner fighters have now got to... He said, we'll pull out by today, by the 10th of May, if you don't give us more ammunition. Well, that hasn't happened yet, but he's playing politics inside the Kremlin. And Kadyrov, who's the head of the Chechens, he said, well, if you pull out... This is Kadyrov talking to Putin, looking very nervous as he did it. He said, if you pull out, my Chechens will go into Bakhmut. We'll take your positions. And there are 4 different groups in Bakhmut, some of them official, some of them VDV, the airborne, some of them the warlords, and nobody is in charge. And so they're all blaming each other for what has gone wrong. That's the problem.
Yeah, it can be a very confusing picture on that front. What do you understand the situation to be inside Bakhmut? Yeah,
Bakhmut itself is still... The Ukrainians are hanging on to a little sliver of Bakhmut, a little sliver of the western part of the town. And they conducted a local offensive last night, and reputedly the 72nd Brigade, the Russian 72nd Brigade, took a lot of losses, fell back, and Wagner was exposed because of that. Wagner people got killed because of it. But it's all to do with the road, the T0504, which is the road that goes down to Kostiantynivka. That is the way of escape for the Ukrainians. As long as that road is open, they can still escape. In reality, the Ukrainians have all but lost Bakhmut. But until they lose that road, they don't have to admit that they've lost it. And that road is their lifeline. So as long as it stays open, and it just about is open, then they can still say that they are fighting in Bakhmut. And the Russians have not yet got the prize, whatever it's going to mean to them, of capturing one place after 10 months.
And just going back to the Wagner Group as an organisation, if you can call it that, we know that they're mercenaries, but there could be a bit of a turning point in terms of the UK are set to brand them as a terrorist organisation. Yeah. What kind of difference does that make?
Yeah, not much more than symbolic, to be honest. I mean, it will take some time to push through legally, but it'll close a loophole. It'll prevent Prigozhin, who tried to sue Elliot Higgins, the man who set up Bellingcat, which is a very, very respectable organisation, and they tried to sue him for defamation for saying something that was absolutely true. And what the Russians do is like the oligarchs. They go in for big, expensive legal cases to try to frighten people off because of the costs of it. It means that they won't be able to do that. They won't be able to push anything through London because there'll be a terrorist organisation. They won't be able to put any money through London. They won't be able to work through London, and nobody else will be able to work to them from London. So if it happens, then it will close a loophole, and it's symbolic. But don't hold your breath on this one.
OK, Michael, thank you, Professor Michael Clarke there with the latest on Ukraine.